Can't get any words. Podcast on blast, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse podcast.
What's going on, fuckers? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast for another week where you'll never guess, everything's turned to shit again, and this is probably the closest I've recorded an episode to release time in a very long time, probably at least 6 to 8 months. I mean, as I've told you guys over the last few weeks, it's been around the 9 to 10 a.m. mark that I've been recording recently on a Monday, so it's still Monday. That's a bonus. It's not Tuesday because these episodes come out on a Tuesday and I'd be completely fucked if it was Tuesday. So it is Monday, but instead of our usual time, it is now 8:15 at night. So these come out at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday, Australia time. Gives me, what's that? Let's do some quick maths here together. I don't know. What's that? 7 hours? Gives me 7 hours to record, edit, do all the social media, thumbnails, blah, blah, blah. But hey, I'm up for it. We can do it. I got my good pal here, Howlerhead Whiskey. Thank you, Mr. Dana White. We'll be talking about him a little bit later. But I guess the couple of reasons it's so chaotic and to the wire. So let's get into it. Reason number one, today being Monday, it's my youngest son Parker's birthday. So we all took the days off work and school for him today to hang out and make it a bit of a fun day for him. So obviously that time got away from us. So tonight was very chaotic we hadn't even done groceries this week. So we had to pop to the shops at like an hour ago and get some things just to get us by through like tomorrow with school lunches and shit like that. So that's where a bit of time went. And then originally, I planned on recording Sunday night after our big debut show at the Distillery Road Market, which we will touch on. It could come out sooner than my week in comedy because there's a couple of things that relate to last night. So there might be no sort of structure to this episode. I'll try and keep it as structured as I can, but I could be all over the shop. So buckle in, guys, buckle in. Fuck, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, I was going to touch on this. So Parker's birthday today, we got him all his presents, everything a 4-year-old could ever want and more. Between myself and Nikita and everyone else that bought Parker presents, I reckon he got almost everything in every toy shop there is. So he'll be pretty good until next year, I reckon, or at least until Christmas. But this morning, Nikita put all his presents in like a big pile with balloons and the works, you know what I mean? And she got a little stuffed Simba from the Lion King teddy because she bought him tickets to Disney on Ice, right? He's wanted to go to Disney on Ice for ages, and we're like, oh, okay, we'll get him for his birthday. So she's printed these tickets off, and she was worried they were a bit boring for a 4-year-old, right? Like, he's just going to see tickets and be like, what the fuck is this shit sort of thing. So she's like, I'll go and buy a Disney teddy and then I'll like make the Disney teddy hold the tickets. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that's a cute little way to do it. Nailed it. But see, this is what I mentioned last week when I tried the sleeping fairy dust thing. She just goes above and beyond with those little details. So Parker wakes up, he sees his mountain of presents and he sees the teddy holding the tickets and doesn't think much of it, right? And Nikita goes, oh, do you know what this is, P? And he's looked at it and he's pulled the tickets out of Simba's arm and he's unwrapped it. And obviously the photo on the tickets for Disney on Ice is like all Disney characters in a mystical fucking wonderland, shit like that. And he's looking at the picture and Nikita goes, do you know what it's tickets for? And P goes, oh my God, we're going to Disneyland. And Nikita and I are like, not quite, buddy, not quite. We're going to the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. We're going to Boondall, the Boondall Wetlands. Is that what it is? Boondall or Bundle? One of them. We're going to the wetlands to watch Mickey and Minnie skate around on some ice, buddy. But we'll get to Disneyland one day. One day, maybe our old daddy here will get a comedy tour happening in America sooner rather than later. Hopefully, I'll take you to Disneyland. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Just for that split second, he thought he was going to Disneyland. We're just like, nah, sorry. Maybe for your 5th birthday, we'll see how we go. But speaking about pee, this was one of the most disgusting things I've ever experienced in my life, right? Just let me have a sip of this. So last week, I was at home in the morning. Everyone was getting ready for school and Nikita was getting ready for work and shit like that. And I just had shit to do in the office. So I was kicking around home, helping with what I could, getting the kids dressed or fucking whatever. And P wouldn't go and brush his teeth. And I was like, you got to brush your teeth, blah, blah, blah. And he's doing the kid thing. He's like, I brushed them yesterday. And I'm like, you got to brush them every day. Trying to give him the lesson, you know what I mean? And so I picked this kid up. I've got him. And he just had a glass of, I don't know if it was orange juice, but it was like a citrusy, acidic juice. Let's say that, right? So he's got disgusting morning breath that he hasn't brushed his teeth. He's just had this acidic juice, and he had something else. He ate something that was like, it might have even been like eggs or something, to be honest, but it was like a gross food, right? And I've picked him up, and all of a sudden he's just looked straight in my face, and I've looked in his face as if we were going to share a great father-son moment, you know what I mean? I've embraced the moment. I've looked into his eyes and I've gone, come on, buddy, what are you going to give me? You're going to give me a kiss on the cheek or something? You're going to go, Daddy, I love you. Thank you for being here in the morning. And this kid lets out the most atrocious fucking burp I've ever heard in my life. Like, I don't know how this sound came out of a 3-year-old's body, but his whole body like rumbled and this thing came out of his mouth. And as it came out of his mouth, it collected every smell in his mouth, whether it be like stomach bile from the acidic juice, then that's picked up the smell of the juice, then that's picked up the smell of his gross, unwashed mouth, and then whatever that food was, let's say eggs. And that like cloud of disgusting odor entered my mouth, like straight into my mouth, and everyone's laughed. Westy's laughed, Nikita's laughing, and I don't know why. I'm not normally like this. As soon as that smell got in my mouth, I just started dry reaching, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I legit had to drop Parker, sprinted to the toilet, and just threw the fuck up. That's how disgusting it was. I've never smelt something so gross in my life, and just for that smell to enter my mouth, and then just to be able to taste that smell, you know what I mean? It was dirty. It was fucking disgusting. So then, of course, that made everyone else laugh even more. It was like a real life cartoon in our house at the time. So, yeah, good times all around. Just some classic father-son bonding, you know what I mean? This whiskey, genuinely going to be my best mate tonight. I don't know. Something always trips me out. I don't know if there's any whiskey drinkers watching. And I think I spoke to Adrian about this when he was back on the podcast. Those were the days. Oh, God, I miss you guys. But something trips me out about like when you put ice in whiskey, like how the oil separates and it creates these like trippy swirls. It's pretty fucking cool. I like it. It's a whole nother layer to drinking whiskey. So we Nikita and I had to go to the shops on, I don't know, must have been Saturday or something. So we dumped the kids at mum's house and we've gone on a little mummy-daddy date. Not really a date. We just went to the shops to buy some shit. And a couple of things happened that made me laugh, and I just quickly pulled my phone out and jotted them down. I'm like, these memories need to be remembered forever. They're core memories. And if I didn't write them down and talk them onto the podcast, then I'd forget about them. But now I'm going to talk them onto the podcast, and in 30 years I can listen back and go, that was right. But let's start it off with this. So we get to the shop, and somehow as we're getting out of the car and walking towards the shop, Nikita kicks her toe, and I'm like, and she's like in a lot of pain. She's like, I don't know, doing the typical fucking like Peter Griffin when he when he's on the ground rocking back and forth. I hope people listening know that image in their head and they can relate. But I'm like, what's up? And she's like, oh, I kicked my thumb toe. And I'm like, what? And she's like, my thumb toe, it hurts. I just kicked it and now I can't walk properly. And as soon as she said this, I could not fucking get past it. And I'm like, I started laughing. And she's like, what are you laughing at? And I'm like, what the fuck is your thumb toe? And she's like the thumb toe on your foot. And I'm like, your big toe. And she's like, yeah. She's like, why the fuck did I think it was called a thumb toe? I'm like, I literally have no fucking idea. But anyway, we move forward. I just heard a door slam out there. I'm assuming maybe the kids are being a little bit difficult or something. Who knows? Or maybe Nikita doesn't like me talking about her thumb toe on the podcast. But moving on, next thing, she needs to find some shoes for like an event she's going to next weekend. So we went to the shoe shop and she's got this pair of shoes and I'm just doing the typical fucking husband-boyfriend thing, awkwardly standing in a shoe shop. Like, I don't fucking want to be there. All the other women in the shop don't want me to be there. I'm just lurking like a fucking sexual predator. And she tries her shoe on and she's like, it's her normal size, right? And the shoe fits. It's fine. But she goes, oh, I might try the next size up. So she goes, oh, can you go get it so I don't have to put my shoe back on or whatever. So I walk to the next aisle, and in this aisle, there's two women shopping, and then there's the like store. Fuck, I've just blanked on like who works in a store. The store worker? I don't remember. But anyway, three women in this aisle, right? In comes this big fucking ogre-like character, me, and I've started stomping my way down the aisle, looking for the next size up for Nikita, and obviously I get a little awkward in these situations, so I felt self-conscious as it was. And, it took me about 20 seconds of being in the aisle and just feeling – I felt like they were just staring holes into me. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing in our shoe fucking aisle? He's probably a creep. He's probably going to get that high heel right there, go to the change room, strap it on his dick, and then – fulfill some sort of sexual fantasy he's had. So I bitched it hard and I went back to the aisle Nikita was in and I go, I can't do it. I can't fucking do it. You're going to have to go and get it. So she had to put her shoe back on and go find the next size up. But yeah, I felt like the ultimate creep, the ultimate creep. Just like the old WWE character, the Ultimate Warrior. I was his arch nemesis, the ultimate creep. But this was the last one. This was the banger. So we're cruising home and we both go, oh, we're hungry. I'm like, what do you want to eat? We're just about to drive past Red Rooster. She's like, oh, just swing in there. We'll get Red Rooster. So we pull in and then we order our meals and she's like, oh, I don't know what we're going to have for dinner. So just get a family chicken while we're here. And as she said that, I'm like, family chicken? Like that's weird, isn't it? A whole chicken? But I was like, maybe at Red Rooster they call it a family chicken. You know how some fast food chains have their weird little things that they do here and there. So I didn't question it. She's gone back to texting whoever she's texting, and then I'm sitting there getting ready to go to the speaker box, order the meals, no issue, nailed it. I'm a fucking fast food connoisseur. And I get to the end, she goes, oh, is there anything else I can get you? And I go, yes, please. And as confidently as you can possibly say it, I've gone, can I please get a family chicken? And this lady has gone, excuse me. And at this time, Nikita's clicked out of her phone. It's almost like she planted this for me. And she's clicked back in and heard the lady question me saying a family chicken. And I'm like, oh, just one family chicken. And she's like, do you mean like a whole chicken? And I'm like, yeah, one whole chicken. And then Nikita just continued to piss her pants uncontrollably because this lady on the other side of the speaker thought I was completely fucking stupid that I was asking for a family chicken. As I just told you guys that story, it was probably more of a you needed to be there moment. But hey, I'm sure someone got some enjoyment out of it. At least one person, I bet, enjoyed that story thoroughly. Almost as much as I enjoyed being there. So let's the next story ties in to the Distillery Road market gig, right? So what I'm going to do, we're just going to enter weekend comedy right here. We're going to start it from the top, and then when I get to Distillery Road, we're going to take a little detour back to the start of just fucking my can't get any worse story of the week. Here we fucking go. Let's rip in. I'm going to have a sip of whiskey and we're going to go. All right. Gigs for the week. I started off sit-down comedy gig at Logan Home Fitzy's. This room can be a little tricky sometimes. So I've had good gigs there, had shit gigs there. And I got there, pretty decent crowd. But like I said, I've had a couple of shit gigs there. And I, for whatever reason, was just like, because I'm trying to video record as much as I can at the moment. If I don't video record, I at least audio record. And I got there, I saw the crowd, I was trying to assess them as best I can. And I was just like, nah, I'm not going to record it. And then I was second on the lineup as well. So I didn't have enough time. So the first comedian got up, had a fucking sick set. And then I was like, fuck, I should have been recording this 100%. But I didn't have enough time to run to my car, get my tripod, blah, blah, blah. So I get up and I have one of the craziest sets I've ever had, right? Like, I messaged everyone after this set and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck just happened, but everything just clicked. Like, and the thing with sit down is you've got a strict 5 minutes, right? Like, they flash you if you hit, I think they give you till like 5 minutes, 10 seconds, something like that. And then they start, like, the sound guy will more or less kick you off the stage. So it was one of those times where you had to like stomp on the laughs, and it fucking killed me on the inside because I was just sitting in the pocket waiting for the laughs to finish, just feeling fucking amazing about myself. And then, I get off stage and I'm like fucking kicking myself I didn't record it. I'm like, that was like the ultimate record set, right? Get off stage and I'm chilling with the rest of the comedians, or like there was a couple of us sitting at some chairs watching the rest of the show. And this was actually a little bit of inside baseball. That exact day, I was in my little comedy group chat that we've got happening. I was in that group chat and I was like, boys, I need to work out an idea, like some sort of idea where I can start promoting myself better through my sets, because I don't know, the last thing I wanted to do was finish my set. And I just feel like this is probably a roadblock in a show for me personally. And I feel like a lot of room runners would probably get not pissed off, but just like, it'd be a bit funny if I just say I had a crush set like I did at Fitzy's, and then I finish my set and I'm like, I've been Jimmy Misson, follow me on Instagram, blah, blah, blah. I do a podcast, Can't Get Any Worse podcast, weekly, comes out Tuesdays, blah, blah, blah. I just feel like that's like it's like a spanner in the works, you know what I mean? Because a comedy show, you just want to keep rolling on that momentum. You just want good set after good set after good set. And then when somebody bombs, you watch the MC get up there, they pick the energy back up in the room, and then we start again. But I just feel like if I was to add that, like, even if it's just 20 seconds on the end of the set trying to promote myself, as much as you got to do it to try and like grow a community or a fan base, whatever you want to call it, it just sucks. So that exact day I was like brainstorming some ideas of something I could do, right? Couldn't think of anything, feeling fucking shitty, blah, blah, blah. And then have that set, right? Go sit down. And the break comes around. I'm sitting there on my phone, and then two blokes come out. Hopefully they're listening to this, because two blokes came up to me and they go, hey man, that set was fucking hilarious. They go, can you add me on Instagram? And I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? This is like, I'm low-key famous in Logan. I'm literally the king of Logan. But yeah, and then this was funny as well. I go, it's just at Jimmy Misson on Instagram, and he goes, he's gone to type it. He's like, oh, can you just type it in? So then he's passed me his phone, and I've clicked on search, and his whole feed was just full of fucking like bikini models, lingerie models, like just fucking typical guy shit, right? And his mate has just looked at him and gone, "What the fuck, bro?" And it was just a funny little like break the ice moment as well. So I've added him, or he's added me, whatever. And then next day he started following the podcast as well. So hopefully you're listening, buddy. Send me a message if you listen to this. You'll know exactly who you are. And then 5 minutes later, I was getting ready to go. I've gone and said goodbye to everyone. And another bloke came up to me and fucking same deal. He goes, that was one of the sickest sort of sets I've seen at an open mic night. And he asked for like my next few dates of where I'm going to be. And I'm like, what? Like, this is fucking insane. Like, one of the highest feelings I've felt, to be honest, while I was doing comedy. So yeah, told him the next few gigs I'd be at, and then obviously plugged the Distillery Road one. I don't remember seeing him there, but again, if you were there, buddy, and you're listening to this, thanks for the fucking support. But that was basically Tuesday night. That, like, I reckon I could have hung the jacket up after that one. It was a sick night. But that exact day, so that was for sit down comedy. Sit down calls me about 3 or 4 o'clock Tuesday afternoon, and I'm like, fuck. They've found the podcast. They're going to cancel me. They heard me. Fuck. They've heard all the shit I've said. Blah blah blah. And they go, "Hey, we're just wondering if you would like a second gig with us on Thursday night." And I'm like, "Fucking sign me up. I'm there." There's a part of me there's a part of the whole scene that's like, if sit down comedy offers you something, you sort of have to take it. Otherwise, it's almost like you're at the back of the queue again. So yeah, they started a gig at Arcana at Maruka. So it was the first gig they've done there last Thursday. So I got thrown on that because someone pulled out. And I get to the gig, super fucking, it's in like an industrial estate, right? And this is becoming pretty common, I think. Like little distilleries and things like that popping up in commercial buildings and stuff like that. And I'm assuming it's because the rent is cheaper and all that sort of stuff, right? And this place is probably one of the darkest and seediest industrial estates I've done a gig in. Oh, it definitely is, actually, because it was nuts. Anyway, I've pulled up and gone, is this the right place? Go into the gig, and smaller crowd, which is sweet. You get that on first nights of gigs kicking off and things like that. So there's probably maybe 10 people. Yeah, 10 people maybe that weren't comedians. So 10 people plus all the comedians. And yeah, it was a bit of a rough one for a lot of people, which I found out I was second last on the lineup. So I was like, fuck, I've got to sit here and just watch all these beheadings in front of me, just knowing that my time's coming, just to get up there and eat a bag of dicks in front of everyone. And about fourth or fifth act in, the owner of Sit Down Comedy strolls into the venue, obviously to check out how the first night's going, right? And I've gone, holy fuck, I'm screwed. I'm about to bomb in front of the owner of Sit Down. He hasn't seen me for like, I don't know, probably since last year's Raw, I would say. So he's probably thinking this guy's still absolute dog shit. But hey, let's give him a chance, right? And I'm just sitting there now the whole night, nervous as shit that he's sitting at the table right behind me, and I'm just like, he's fucking watching me. I can feel it. I'm gonna bomb. Here goes my comedy career. It's up in smoke. And yeah, the act before me goes on. They get up and they're going through their set. They actually had a sick set. Shout out to Clint. He's one of friend of the show, Reed. Yeah, he's one of his mates, and he's relatively new to comedy, but yeah, every set I've seen that bloke do, fucking little bit of a crusher on our hands there, I reckon. So he'll be stealing all my sets left, right, and center shortly. But yeah, he got up and had a pretty sick set, and then just as he got on stage, the owner of Sit Down got up and left, and I was like, and at that stage, I'd hyped myself up so much that I was just going to have the most unbelievable set again. I like tapped back into Tuesday mindset, and I was like, I'm going to fucking crush and set my career up here. And then he left like a person before my set, and I'm like, what the fuck? So then I just was like, oh, I'm just going to get up and eat a bag of dicks for fun. But ended up having a half decent set there as well, considering the crowd capacity and things like that. Crowd capacity, is that right? I don't think that's right because, that was just a stupid slip of the tongue then. Don't mind me. It's late. Like I said, it's way past my fucking bedtime by now. Ugh. All right. Let's get into it, eh? The juicy one. The one that everyone wants to hear about. The debut gig for West Park Productions at Distillery Road Market on Sunday. Came on last week with some exciting news that the venue had sold out tickets. So tickets were exhausted. Is that what you say? So I messaged them. I'm like, am I picking up what you're putting down? They're like, I think you are, B1. And so that was 130 tickets allocated, right? And from that moment, they opened the upper balconies and a couple more tables and things like that. So technically speaking, if you went to book a ticket, it was sold out. But a lot of people were calling the venue and emailing the venue saying, is there any chance we can still come? Blah, blah, blah. And the venue was like, yep, any walk-ins are welcome because if anybody's been there, the place is gigantic. It's literally one of the biggest industrial warehouses in Logan. And the way they've fitted this place out it's immaculate. They used we'll get to it. I was talking to the owner of the place after the gig and I said to him, I'm like, me and my mates used to bring our cars here when we just got our licenses, would break in, drive in the middle, and it just used to be littered with graffiti and stuff. And they've left a little bit of that on the inside as well, I guess, to keep the original aesthetic of the building. I don't know, but it's cool how they've kept some of it. And yeah, we just used to take cool photos of our cars and shit. And he's just like, oh yeah, there used to be cameras and stuff in here, and used to see people sneak in all the time. And I'm like, fuck, I'm trying to think back if I did anything bad in there. But he's like, oh, there used to be a porn studio and everything set up in the corner. So place to be. It's obviously changed now. It's a high end establishment. So I've messaged the lineup and stuff like that. I've said basically what I've just told you guys, and everyone's keen as fuck for the gig, right? And I got to the gig, and I don't know why. I was just lunchtime Sunday. It just fucking hit me what's that saying again? Like a bag of bricks or something? I don't know. But the nerves sunk in as to what the fuck I'd signed myself up for. Easily the biggest gig I'd signed myself up for. Business-wise and personal-wise, I guess. And I get to the gig and, I don't know, it was about half an hour before start time and there was maybe 40 people there if I had to throw a dart. And then I've started shitting myself. I'm like, fuck, I've told the lineup there's going to be 150 people here. I've set my brain that there's going to be 150 people here. And then I've just started doubting myself even more. And then we got to 5. There was a few more, maybe 60 or so. And then I went and spoke to the venue. I'm like, do you want to wait till 5:15? Because the MC was running a little bit late as well. I'm like, that gives them a little bit of time to center themselves and things like that. And they're like, yeah, sweet. You're running the show, whatever you want to do. So we kicked off about 5:15. And by the time we kicked off, including people on the balcony and things like that, I reckon there was probably 80 to 90 people there, at least. But I somewhat knew this before the gig, right? But it wasn't until this moment that it all sort of hit me that there's a lot of sort of things that we need to fix before the next show. And I knew them all, and then the other comedians started to tell me about them. So the seating arrangement wasn't quite right for a comedy show. The venue like I said, it's humongous. So there's a few things we're going to be doing. It's not like we can reinvent the building, but we've got some ideas, and it's sick, and we're going to get to that part. Lighting, things like that. So just like little comedy things that I guess like the normal person wouldn't really pick. And this is what I was saying. There's been a long path to get to what happened last night. A lot of meetings, a lot of discussions, things like that. And I was pretty down on myself at that point last night. But then I'm kind of glad I didn't record last night, to be honest. I'm glad I sort of had the night to think about it. And I'm pretty happy with how everything was last night, the show that we put on. There was a let's call it a pretty major issue with sound of the comedians on stage not being able to hear the laughter of the crowd. So after the first two acts, or after the MC and the first support act, they were of the belief of there was no laughter in the room, right? It was just their ultimate bomb. And I was going from the green room to the back of the room, like to all sections of the room, right? Just to almost get a taste of the sound and make sure there was laughter coming. And as I was standing at the back of the room, like the laughter was fucking high. Like there were laughs in the room, but because it was such a big open area and the stage there is so like elevated, the laughs just weren't traveling quite up. So I just had to go back to the green room and sort of reassure everyone there's laughs in the room. So just do your set, do your usual pauses, just fucking try and adapt for this one gig. We had to dip in the tank and just trust our guts, I guess. So I got up and I don't know, I'm not going to say it was my best set ever, but I got enough laughs to keep the car straight on the drive home and avoid any power poles. Nikita and Adrian were there watching, and apparently they were trying to like gesture to me slow down. But a lot of comedians do this. If you witness some live bombings in front of yourself, or what in reality now we know they weren't bombings because there was laughter in the room, they just couldn't hear. But when you're standing where we are and you're just witnessing this, you're like, fuck, my head is next on the chopping block. And I just got in my head again and I'm just like, I'm just going to fucking power through this shit. So what I think I had ready was like maybe an 11-minute set, maybe. And looked at my recording as I got it out of my pocket. I was around 9 minutes 40 or something. So I was talking pretty quickly. I actually noticed that about last week's podcast as well. I have started talking really fast again, and I'm hoping I've slowed down a lot this week. This is something I've consciously tried to do this week, is slow down a little bit. So if I sound a little bit monotone or boring, that's why. I'm not trying to on purpose. I'm just trying to slow it down and emphasize what I'm trying to say, I suppose. Anyway, we get to the break. We get to the break of the night, and we're all sitting there pretty doomy and gloomy, things like that, after what we had felt like wasn't the best sets of our lives, okay? But we're all bouncing off each other. We're laughing, having fun. And then in rolls the headliner, Dusty Rich, and he walks straight up to me and he's looking around. Before he even makes eye contact with me, he's assessing the building. And everyone said he was going to do this when he got there. Sure enough, he rolls in and he's looking around and he goes, "This venue it's not right for comedy." And I've gone, "G'day, mate, how you going?" And then we've obviously laughed and smoothed everything over. And I'm like, "Look, we're about to finish the break. You ready to go on?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, I'll give the people a show. I'll make it work. I'll crush this place." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "We've all had some pretty rough sets." So I'm like, "Maybe keep your expectations low, buddy." And then Dusty more or less sent his spirit animal into my body and goes, "Shut the fuck up and watch what like 15 years of comedy gets you." And he just got on stage and somehow molded this room that we all struggled in into like the perfect comedy club. And he crushed. He like one of the best headliners in Brisbane, I reckon, for sure. And I'm so stoked he jumped on the first lineup for us. And so after the break, this is the cool part, right? So I've beaten myself up inside. I'm fucking having an internal tantrum, right? And a lot of the other comedians, they weren't stoked either, but they were getting paid, they were getting free food, et cetera, et cetera. So how down can you get when you're getting a free fucking smokehouse meal? And once the MC had introduced Dusty and things like that, it was sort of back to the green room. Let's have some laughs. Let's have a chat, blah, blah, blah. And this was the sick part, right? So the owner of the venue, I've never met him before, right? All the meetings and stuff I've had are with his sort of entertainment managers and things like that, which is fair enough. Like when you're running a place like that, you need all these helpers to do all this shit, if that makes sense. And they said he was going to be there on the night because he loves comedy and he wanted to see how it went, blah, blah, blah. So we've run the show. We've got Dusty on stage. And as I've come back out in the green room, he's sitting at the table with the rest of the comedians and he's fucking laughing it up as if he's one of the comics. And this bloke is one of the coolest fucking cunts I've ever fucking met. He's obviously built this giant entertainment hub that he had full belief in. And this dude is the ultimate dreamer. If there's one person I love in life, it's a bloke that just has a dream and somehow makes it happen. And I'm not going to say how he made his fortunes or anything like that, but I think if you Google Distillery Road Market and find what the center of that place is, it's pretty fucking obvious how he's made his money. And yeah, to say he was stoked with how that night went and how much I'd beaten myself up as to how shit I thought I'd put this show on for the crowd, myself, the other comedians on the lineup. I was hating life, right? And then to come back into the green room and hear this bloke absolutely frothing over what we had given him. He was literally going to every comedian and saying like, I love this bit in your set. I love that bit in your set. That part was so funny when you said this. And then he asked for all our opinions as to how to make the room bigger and better. It's everything you want like a venue to do is completely buy in, right? But yeah, turns out the owner is a bit of a closeted comedy fan. He's loved it all his life, things like that. He's talking to us about his favorite comedians, blah, blah, blah. And then he hits us. He goes, I'm pretty keen to make this like a big thing here, like make this a big comedy hub. And yeah, basically wants us or West Park Productions, along with every other comedian that we get on our lineups to make this place as good as we can. And he showed us a little what do you call it? Little Easter egg at the end of the night, right? He goes, I want you guys to come and have a look at this. And holy fuck, I've literally not been this excited about anything for a long time. If he can make this work and hopefully it's with me, fucking one of the sickest things to ever happen in, I guess, like this little career path that I'm trying to take. But a lot of potential and ideas being thrown around. And there's a dangerous thing about a dreamer like him who's gone and just fucking created this empire and now more or less, I don't want to say money's not an option, but yeah, he cruised in his McLaren and he told us about his Rolls Royce that he's got at home because, I don't know, he had some funny story about his Rolls Royce, but he pulled up in his McLaren and I said to Nikita, I'm like, do you reckon it would be weird if I went up to him and I was just like, if I have a good set tonight, do you reckon you could take me for a ride in your McLaren? And she's like, yes, that would be so fucking weird. Do not go and do that. So I didn't. And then when I thought about it, I was sitting out the back. I'm like, that would have been weird if I just went up to a bloke I've never met before and I was like, hey, mister, if I do some good ha-has tonight, will you take me for a big drive in your broom broom? Yeah, probably wouldn't have had the chat at the end of the night we did if I did go and do that. So I've gone from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs, right? I've nailed it. I've just made probably one of my biggest connections I've made in my business ventures. And yeah, we've got a couple of meetings coming up to see what exactly we can build from all this. But there will be another Distillery Road comedy night next month. We don't have a firm date just yet, but it will be sort of the first week or second week of July. So yeah, stay tuned for that. We will be firming that up this week. But yeah, all that, amazing. So you can imagine, James is down here. He's at rock bottom, right? Oh my God. The roller coaster is re-engaged. It's re-engaged. I'm at the top of the Superman hypercoaster at Movie World. Nothing can fucking pull me down right now. I finished that meeting. The rest of the comedians leave. The owner of the venue leaves. He goes, I've got to go. I told my wife I'm cooking dinner tonight. And at this stage, I look at my watch. It's like 7 o'clock or something. And so he races home. And there's a few stragglers left there. And Nikita and Adrian, right? So I'm talking to Nikita and Adrian. I'm giving them the inside loop of everything we just spoke about. And Adrian goes, oh, you want one more beer? And I've gone, it's always the one more beer. You never fucking have the one more beer. If there's any advice I can give you guys tonight, don't have the one more beer. We've all heard the truck story before. And yeah, there's nothing good that comes from the one more beer. So we've had the one more beer. And in that time as well, I've gone to the toilet. A couple of the stragglers came into the toilet, gave me some fucking props as well. That was fucking hilarious. We can't wait to come back next week. The best one I heard though, David Hatton messaged me today, and he opened the show, and there were kids in the venue, right? That was one of my biggest worries about this whole event, is it was an all ages event, but we were warning all parents that there was going to be cursing and fucking explicit content. So David messaged me. He goes, I went to the toilet just before I was going to leave, and it was awkward because there was like a 10-year-old beside me in the urinal, and we were awkwardly pissing, and I felt like a creep. And he just looked over to me and he goes, good set, man. I loved your jokes. And David was like, it was amazing. I felt so good about it. So that's what you can expect if you come to one of our gigs. 10-year-olds complimenting you at the urinal. Oh, got a frog in my throat. All right. Oh, yeah. So we've had the one more beer. I've come back to the table, smashed it, blah, blah, blah. Home time, right? I start driving home. Nikita and I took separate cars in case she had to leave to get the kids, etc., etc. I'm following Nikita, and we're on the phone to each other discussing how the gig had gone. And then all of a sudden, we're 5 minutes from home, and I get the red and blues in my rear vision mirror. And I'm like, Nikita goes, are they for you? And I'm like, I think so. Oh, here's Nikita right now. Hey, do you want to come and say hi? Oh, okay. I will be right back. Hey, sorry about that. There was a big bump in our backyard, apparently. Something ran into our back door. So old daddy here had to go check it out and make sure there was no predators in the backyard. You'll never believe I didn't think to look at the clock again before I left. So I don't know how long this episode's going to go for. I just picked it up, though. I was talking very fast just then. So we're going to try and slow it down again, all right? We're going to... I'm actually going to replace this while I think of it. Got myself a little energy drink here to... Fuck. Oh, there we go. Fits perfectly. Sugar-free V right here to keep me up tonight to edit this podcast and get it out for you guys at our regular listening time. Where was I? So I think I got to the point where police were pulling me over. So I've pulled over and I've gone, fuck, here we go. I shouldn't have had that last beer. And I only had 2 beers. I had one when I got there about, the show kicked off at 5:15, and I had my first beer then at the kickoff of the show, right? And then I had my second one just before I left. But I was like, knowing my luck, somehow it's just fucking stayed in my system, blah, blah, blah. And I thought they were going to get me for that. First thing they pulled over, and they just started like questioning from the start. They're like, whose vehicle is this? And it was almost like they were trying to make me say that I had stolen the vehicle, or it's not my vehicle, something like that. They were asking for like addresses, license numbers, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, this vehicle hasn't been registered for 30 days. They're like, you're unregistered, uninsured, something else. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I've started to explain. I'm like, my wife sorts all that, which I'm sure every bloke says when they get pulled over. I'm like, I thought it was direct debited these days, things like that. And then these guys started to turn around, and I think they realized I didn't know what the fuck was going on. They're like, oh, where are you coming from? I'm like, I just put on a comedy show. I'm like, I'm driving straight home right now. I'm like, we're not going anywhere. And then they've gone, look, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. They pulled us a couple of favors. I'm not going to say what, but they're like, we have to give you this fine. There's a infringement fine for driving an unregistered vehicle over 30 days. And I'm like, fuck, okay. And in my head, I'm like, I don't know. I was throwing around the number of $190 or something, $200. I'm like, surely it'll be something like that. And then, we spend another 10 minutes or so. He's filling out his paperwork, and old mate's standing there still with the breathalyzer till he's like down by his side. And I'm like, this cunt's standing there about to fucking checkmate me. I can feel it. And old mate's finished, and he's like, all right, I've sent you the infringement. You need to pay it. He's like, also now you need to go through the whole process again. You've got to go get a roadworthy certificate. You've got to go to the Department of Transport, starting a whole fucking list of shit. And I'm like, fuck this. I did not need this. I go, okay, no worries. How much is the fine? And he goes, $990. And I'm like, what the actual fuck? Like, it would have been cheaper for me to drink, drive, and roll a truck again. Like, that cost me $330. So that's insane. Completely fucking insane. But anyway, no one to blame except myself. So I've got to sort that out. Get a roadworthy, blah, blah, blah. So, and then he goes, all right, you're good to go. And then I've gone to pull away, and he goes, oh shit, and said to his partner, he's like, is the breathalyzer all good? And I'm like, fuck, here we go. And his mate goes, oh yeah, it's all clear. So I didn't say anything. I'm like, thank you fucking God. Like, got my back on this one, homie. So yeah, he goes, you've got 10 minutes to get home. He's like, we should normally make you get towed, but here's a fucking, I forget what they call it, like when you buy an unregistered car or something and you can apply for a drive home unregistered thing. He's like, I've just given you a 10-minute one. He's like, you get home as quick as you can, and if you get busted again, you're basically fucked. But he didn't say that. He said it in like the police terms. Geez, I don't know how far we are into the episode, but this might be a little longer than the hour. So some people might like that. Some people might hate it. Let's see how we go. Couple of things I wanted to touch on this week. There's a group of people that have been giving me the absolute shits lately. And if you're on TikTok, you'll know who I'm about to talk about. And that is a little dance troupe called the Aussie Bro Squad. And these guys, part of me thinks they're getting completely fucking manipulated by their mum, because they go on TikTok live multiple times throughout the day. Like, if you go on TikTok, these guys are live without a doubt, and they don't get to talk. It's just the mum talking. The mum holds her camera and she's recording these guys, and then she makes them do little choreographed dances and things like that. And then it makes me feel sick that. And these guys are 4 brothers, right? And they're all a little different. Let's say that. I've actually got a video of them dancing, so I'll play it so you guys know who the Aussie Bro Squad is if you don't have TikTok. But yeah, it surprises me that not one of the brothers has gone, fuck this shit. I'm not dancing anymore, mum. So part of me thinks she's got fucking locks on these guys' bedrooms or something. But here's an example of an Aussie Bro Squad dance. So this is one of their posts, but this is what they do on live for legit hours at a time. So this is the Aussie Bro Squad.
She takes control, but then I give it up to the devil in me, and I let my guard down. I'm giving up on a vision of me when I let my guard down.
Like, what the fuck is that? Like, it's not, like, I don't look at that and go, now that is 4 good fucking dancers. Like, that's the Justice crew right there. That's a serious breakdancing troupe. These are just legit 4 simple brothers that learnt these choreographed dances. And it's like, I don't know, to me, that's not good fucking dancing. They're being forced to do this. Like their mum is milking money from them. And I feel like they don't get dinner if they don't do those stupid little dances. Go check them out. Have your own fucking thoughts about it and let me know, because something about it just does not sit right with me. But here's the big one for the week, or I guess the big one for me, I suppose. Eminem dropped his new single, Houdini, and a lot of ups and downs on this one. It's I'll just give my opinion straight off the bat. It's certainly not my favorite Eminem song that's ever been released, right? But I will say it's good to have new music from Eminem. And first couple of times I listened to it, I was just like, it's not getting to me. I see what he's doing, but I'm not feeling it, right? And like this new album that's about to come out is called The Death of Slim Shady. And everyone's like, it's his retirement album. He's going to come out. He's going to say everything he's ever fucking wanted to say, everything you shouldn't say these days, and it's going to be fucking sick. And then he releases this as like the debut track. And I was like, oh, like it's good, but it's not what I was hoping for. Like I was hoping for legit, like vicious Eminem shit. But then, as I do, I've listened to it another like 100,000 times, and it has grown on me in this way, right? When you think of Eminem, you think of all his big songs like Without Me and Just Lose It. What else are like the big mainstream Eminem songs, right? Like he's got all those songs that everyone knows. Like if one of those songs came on the radio, my mum would know it. But for me, being an Eminem fan, my favorite Eminem songs are like the album tracks, right? Because part of me feels like he almost does this on purpose, as he releases those big songs to almost be in the pop culture side of things. And then that allures you to buy the album. And then you listen to the album and you're like, holy shit, like this dude is dark and twisted and I fucking love every second of it, right? And then I started to look at the song of, okay, this is the song on the album that he's picked to be the first release song, right? So this is his pop song release to the masses, right? So this is his Just Lose It or Without Me or any of that. And then I've listened to it in that like mindset, and I'm like, okay, sick. That is a sick first release for this album, because the amount of like Easter eggs and shit hidden throughout this, like he uses fucking lyrics and shit from old songs. He uses beats from old songs. And then I looked up like the lyrics, and there's a dude on the internet. If you type in Houdini Eminem lyrics, I think it's like the second or third one on Google. There's a dude who has completely broken down this song, and the amount of underlying shit that Eminem has planted in this song to just fuck with everybody is insane. So again, it just goes down to he is one of the ultimate songwriters. Well, I reckon for sure, for me personally, he's probably like the artist of my generation, I suppose, because I remember when I was like maybe 10, like we just moved up to Brisbane, and my best mate's older sister had burnt CDs of like Eminem's albums and shit like that. And we used to go over their house for barbecues and stuff, and we'd just be sitting in their room, like with the volume right down, listening to all the hectic songs on there. And I'm like, what the fuck are we listening to? And then like would hear our parents come in and would skip over to like Chicka Chicka Slim Shady and shit like that. And we'd be like, oh, it's regular pop music. Like everyone just needs to calm down. Never bleached my hair though. That's one thing I wanted to do. But yeah, it's pretty cool what he's brought back. Like he's brought back the Paul skit. Yeah, the Guess Who's Back thing is pretty relevant in the whole song again. But yeah, go listen to it. Let me know what you think. But of course, cancel culture's after him because he's said a couple of naughty lines in this. And this is what I'm keen for now. Like I said, I was hoping if it is his retirement album, I don't think it's going to be. I think if you're someone like him, you're always going to pop up here and there. But I was hoping it was legit just going to be like a fucking fuck you to cancel culture sort of thing. And this whole woke thing that we're all going through at the moment, where you can't say certain words and you can't say this to someone. All that fucking lame shit that all of us hate, but we have to live with these days. So here's a couple of lines. I wrote them up on the screen. Some people aren't happy with lines like this, right? And this is in his new song. Sometimes I wonder what the old me would say if he could see the way shit is today. He'd probably say that everything is gay. Okay. That's not that bad, right? Like I just said that. People are probably going to cancel me for saying he'd probably say everything is gay. That's the line everybody is upset about because Eminem said that. Here's another one. Where is it? Bumpin' R. Kelly's favorite group, the Black Guy Peas. A play on the Black Eyed Peas to R. Kelly, who pees on black guys, the Black Guy Peas. Pretty fucking clever. I heard that and I was like, that's fucking up here. That's good. People are angry at that for some reason because he's glorifying R. Kelly peeing on people or some shit. And then the last one, there's another one about his Siamese cat. I didn't write this one down, so I'm going to fuck it up. But something about his Siamese cat is black but acts like he's Chinese or something like that. And people are like, oh, Eminem's racist now. So they're all like, Eminem's a racist, misogynist, fucking... It promotes like peeing on people. And I'm like, I like read that and I'm like, have people listened to Eminem before? Because then I went back and listened to some of Eminem's more vicious songs, right? And probably the most hectic one I heard was Kim. It was never in like the mainstream culture. And if you haven't heard Kim, go give it a listen. But the opening line to this song, Eminem says, and I've written this up here because I didn't want to fuck it up. The opening line to that song is, sit down, bitch. You move again. I'll beat the shit out you. And then it goes on to be one of the most ruthless rap songs you've ever heard. And I'm like, how come people weren't trying to cancel Eminem when he released that? But they're coming after him for saying like everything is gay. So that's got me excited as to what the fuck all the rest of the songs are going to say, because I feel like he's going to go hard and just shut down cancel culture. It's going to be fucking sick. Didn't watch any movies or anything this week, but I had an Audible credit sitting there, so I was going through audiobooks and I'm like, what the fuck can I listen to? Nothing jumped out. And then Jimmy Carr's book came up. And like I said, I watched his latest special a few weeks ago. And I just thought I'd give it a listen, see how it went. And holy fuck, it grabbed me right from the start. It is one of the sickest comedian books I've listened to. It's called Before and Laughter. And yeah, it's just like I love listening to how comedians have made their come up and shit like that. And just to hear him, obviously he's had his personal struggles, things like that, mental health, blah, blah, blah. And then just all the shit to go wrong along the way and still just make it on the other side. Pretty fucking sick to see. But I'll just scroll down here. Oh, yep. So, the other sick thing that happened yesterday, like I said, this anxiety hit me at lunchtime to the point that I could not even watch UFC yesterday. I felt like I had so much to do that I couldn't even sit down and watch the fights, which killed me on the inside. But I was like, I cannot bomb tonight on the back of watching the fights. So I watched a couple of replays, legal replays, all above board. Aussie Jake Matthews, he got the win. Got the win, sorry, not the wind. He got the win, unanimous decision, which is sick to see. Another Aussie in the win column. He's sort of started his retirement career as well. If you follow him on Instagram, he does like UFC collectible cards. He's got this cool little system that he has happening that I think he's making a fair bit of money from it, if I had to guess. But yeah, good on him for that. But the big one, the main event, our boy Dustin Poirier. Everyone knew it. Everyone knew it was going to fucking happen. The thing I'm surprised about is it didn't happen until the 5th round, which is crazy for Dustin to go toe-to-toe with arguably pound for pound best fighter in the world at the moment, Khabib's little protege, Islam Makhachev. Yeah, it's insane. That dude's got so much fucking heart, so much ticker just to get through the fight. And he got tapped out in the 5th round. He split Islam Makhachev in the 4th round with an elbow, and I was like, holy fuck. I was stoked. I'm like, he's got him. He's fucking got him. But yeah, unfortunately, didn't go his way. His post-fight interview, more or less, he allured to, this was my last fight. He goes, what am I even fighting for anymore? I've done 50 of these things. I'm not going to fight again unless it's for like something. So I'd be surprised if he gets another title shot. It'd be weird to give him another one after losing again. Like, I think that's his 2nd or 3rd shot at the title. So the only thing that I can think of that would get him out of bed, and this is what I thought was, this was my prayer, right? This was my hope and fucking dream. Like, I would have cried if this happened. My dream was Dustin win yesterday, win the title. Conor McGregor wins next month against Michael Chandler, challenges Dustin Poirier for their 3rd rematch, and just the ultimate fucking fight. Both their retirement fights. They both just cruise off into the distance, but didn't go down that way. So I don't know what exactly is going to happen there, but yeah, something sick will hopefully happen, and good on to Dustin if that was his last fight. The diamond, the diamond shined bright that night. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm trying to make some sort of sick reference to his nickname, but my motivational clip of the week is actually from Dustin, so stay tuned from that. But the other one, like I said, McGregor Chandler is the next big pay-per-view. It's next month, UFC 303. The press conference was supposed to take place today, but it's been postponed for no real reason at all other than people assuming Conor's pulling his Conor antics, right, and just throwing spanners in the works. So they had this big press conference planned in Dublin. Everyone's flown over for it, ready for it, and 3 hours before it gets kicked off, it's been cancelled for some reason. So who knows what's coming of it. The other thing that's come out, Michael Chandler is in the gym looking jacked as fuck, like a fucking animal. And Conor McGregor is in nightclubs. Not going to say he's on cocaine, but there's a video of him and his wife licking and sniffing each other's bodies. So I don't know. I'm not big in the cocaine scene, but looks a little suspicious. And if I had a huge fight in 5 weeks, a nightclub would probably be the last place I would be at. But I fucking hope Conor does not fuck this up. Like I said, he's probably he would be my favorite fighter of all time. And the amount of times this bloke has fucked up, and I've just had to be like, oh, it's cool. We can forgive him, can't we? But this might be it. If Conor fucks up again, he has to retire. If he loses this fight, there's no coming back. But yeah, legit, I will be on the edge of my seat. If he wins or loses, I guarantee I'll fucking cry. I'm tempted just to have a camera filming me the whole time and just post me crying like a bitch for no real reason. But yeah, the other cool thing that has come out, Alexander Volkanovski, the Aussie fucking battler, he's seen these videos of McGregor in the nightclubs and shit, and obviously the press conference has been cancelled. So he's put out a little post and he's like, I'm on weight. I'm cutting weight as well. Ready for 303. If either one of these guys pulls out, I'm in. I want this fucking money fight. So if there's one thing I'd want to see more than McGregor Chandler, it would be McGregor Volkanovski. Like that. Oh, everything about that is fucking insane. But premature premise for the week. I think we have gone over the hour. So let's speed through these last couple of bits. Premature premise. We'll keep it simple. I haven't even written anything for this yet, but I found this funny. I looked in my back seat the other day as I was driving in my rear vision mirror, and I saw the kids' car seats, And I found it funny, like when we first had Westy, right, like this car seat had to be installed perfectly. Like we followed all the rules, we followed all the directions, we made sure all the straps were tight and perfectly fitted and shit like that. And over time, if you've had kids, like the amount of times we've pulled these car seats out of the car and just fucking thrown them back in, blah, blah, blah. And it's now at the point where we'll pull them out and we'll just literally throw them back in, put the hook on, the hook will be loose as fuck, and we're just like, oh, throw the strap around, blah, blah, blah. And it was just funny like how that care factor dwindles over the years, and now it's just like I just want to tie it into some sort of bit. You know, when a dad or a tradie straps something on the back of his ute and then he flicks it and he's like, that's not going anywhere. I want to try and write a joke of like almost insinuating throwing a car seat back in and then more or less just pulling the seatbelt going, that's not going anywhere. But like visualizing in some way that the car seat's fucking upside down or some shit. But just trying to emphasize the fact that like that care factor leaves after a while. Don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I had this week. So deal with it. Oh, all right. Let's go to our motivational clip for the week. This is Dustin Poirier after his fight yesterday. This is him backstage with Megan O'Leary, who interviews all the fighters for the UFC. And I just thought this was fucking cool for him to say after his loss. So let's hear what the big dog's got.
And after such a valiant effort, you still have such a beautiful attitude. Off camera 5 seconds ago, you said it's all good, life is still good. How are you able to always keep this mindset?
I said it yesterday or whatever, the other day with you. Without gratitude, nothing's ever enough. And my cup's full, my family's good. I have my health, they have theirs. I mean, I'm chasing dreams. I'm living the life that that I could have only imagined as a kid just by chasing my dreams. I came up short tonight and it hurts bad because, like I said, I know I'm not going to get another chance. I'm probably not going to get another chance to be the undisputed world champion. And that meant a lot to me. And even in the fight, number one pound for pound guy, defending champion on a 13-fight win streak, I felt like every time I got off the stool, I was going to win. I felt like every time I got off the stool, I was going to find a way to win. And that's fighting.
But yeah, I just thought that was a sick attitude to have after you've just lost your last fight. Potentially. I don't want to write him off completely, but it's looking that way. So some wise words from old Dustin Poirier right there. So that'll do us for this week. My gigs for the week are Tuesday the 4th. I'll be at the Parkwood Tavern. That is potentially an all-new material night. I've got a lot of new gear that I've been riding and want to try. Most of them for the first time. So see how they go. Don't come and watch me then because I'll probably fucking bomb. Thursday the 6th, haven't done this one for a while, so pretty keen for it. A Prey Surf down at Burleigh. That's going to be a mix of old and new. So I'm actually going to be emceeing that gig as well in a few weeks, hopefully. Talking to the room runner there at the moment, trying to get some MC gigs happening. So yeah, come check me out there if you're down in the Burleigh area. Otherwise, send through any submissions or anything you want to chat about to cantgetanyworsepod@gmail.com or shoot me a DM on Instagram and we'll have a bit of a chat and go from there, you know what I mean? But thanks for listening. Share the podcast around. Let's grow this shit and I will see you later.
Can't get any worse, will make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any